Tonight I'm going to show you a really easy recipe, and of course it's from TasteBuds because I am making our October TasteBuds, and it's autumn herb roasted chicken with a cider pan sauce, and it uses our bell pepper herb rub. Also, if you want to substitute, it calls for sage and rosemary, but I had the rosemary, it calls for sage and thyme, but instead of spending money on that, I have our rosemary herb mix, seasoning mix, and it says that you could swap out the fresh thyme for a tablespoon of the rosemary herb seasoning mix. Also in this recipe, it's got white wine. You can substitute it for chicken broth. Also, easy change-ups, you can use pork chops or pork tenderloin instead of chicken breasts. So what I've done is heated up my oven. You want to make sure that you have an oven-safe pan. So of course, I'm heating this up here. I'm going to put the chicken in here, but I'm also going to then take this off and pop it into the oven. So it's one of those one-pot skillet meals. So let's get going. All I did was I seasoned about 2 pounds of chicken, and I put the bell pepper seasoning rub on. So your pan is nice and hot. You want to do this for just about 5 minutes, just to get them golden brown. You are going to bake it with apples and our cider pan sauce, so you don't have to worry about cooking it totally through. Another benefit of the big skillet. Love our 12-inch skillet. And November hosts can pick anything for 60% off. And remember, I've got our friends and family discount. So if you see anything you like, you want to grab it before Thursday for 25% off. So that's going to cook on that side. I don't know how many of you have our splatter screen, but it's stainless. I love it. It's going to keep all that splatter from our chicken from coming onto your countertop, so that's always a plus. So the next thing is it's 2 shallots cut in half, so I've got those. Then it calls for 4 cloves of smashed garlic. So we used to sell a garlic smasher, but didn't sell, so it got off the line. So I'm just going to use our meat tenderizer and just kind of gently smash it. So you're not going to mince it, you're not going to dice it, it's just kind of a little smashed. By the way, this is heavy duty. I barely used any force. It just, I could just barely drop it and it's going to smash it. So we've got that, we've got this. Then of course you need some apple cider, a cup of apple cider. And you're going to need a half a cup of a white wine, a dry white wine, maybe a Pinot or Sauvignon Blanc. And of course, like I said, we need our apples. So you're going to take 2 Gala apples. 2 cool things. I'm going to show you the apple core because this is revamped. So it's got a nice little thing. You pull it out. Boop. And that's a lot of fun because there's your core. But you're going to do apple wedges. So the best way to do that, now that I took the core out, I don't really need to use this, but is use our apple wedger. Okay. So you can do 2. Again, I don't need to do the core. Let me check on the chicken. So I'm just going to pop this over. And basically this dish, the pan sauce, is going to come together in here. We're going to cook it in the oven for about 20 minutes just to get it, again, this is just browning the chicken. Looks delicious. Got my apples. So then you're just going to add some butter to the dish. Let me get my second apple. These are big Honey Crisp. Ooh, good gravy. Huge. Doesn't even fit. I got it stuck. See, pampered out perfect. The apple was too big. Okay. Gotta love it. Too big for the apple core. Well, I'm gonna have fun getting this out. So then what we're gonna do, now that that's kind of browning, I am going to take it off the heat. Just a couple minutes. Then you're gonna add, to make the pan sauce. You don't wanna cook it too much because it is going to cook in the oven. I'm gonna remove it from the heat. And I'll just show you what it looks like. So it's got that nice bell pepper herb. And take it off the heat. Now, to make your pan sauce, it smells really good. You're just going to take the apple cider and the wine and boil for about 3 minutes. So I'm gonna put my apple cider in. Now remember, the chicken is not totally cooked. And a half a cup of wine or chicken broth, whatever you want. I happen to have a dry wine here, so if you also have chicken broth, that's fine. I used a little more than 2 pounds of chicken for this autumn pan sauce, herb roasted chicken. So I'll show you that, and then you're gonna just kind of put it back. And so we've got the chicken with the bell pepper herb rub, and you're going to bring that to a boil, just a little bit. So for about 3 minutes, I would say. So you've got the white wine or the chicken broth, whichever you want, and the apple cider. That's gonna come to a boil. You can put your lid on if you want. And then, once that's done, you are going to take your gala apples, your smashed, just a little smashed with our meat tenderizer, garlic, and then 2 shallots. So I've got lots of apples. And you're going to arrange it in your stainless or your big skillet, whichever skillet you have that's oven safe. This Pampered Chef one is oven safe to 480 degrees. So what you're gonna do for that is, oh my goodness, I forgot the rosemary, how silly. So like I said in the beginning of this video, if you want, instead of fresh sage and fresh rosemary, you can just put about a tablespoon of our rosemary seasoning. Better late than never. So the pan sauce is coming to a boil. Wish you could smell it. Again, this is our TasteBuds for November. It's a 1, 3, or 6 month subscription. Comes with our, seasoning, so you can try them. But this I thought was a really good recipe to share, because if you have a chicken broth or a wine and an apple cider in the fall, some apples, shallots, garlic, you can make this really delicious meal. So if you can see, it's coming together, coming to a boil. And then, I don't know if you just tuned in, you'll see that my gala apple was too big for my slicer. So I gotta pop that back out somehow. Maybe off camera, because I might be needing a new one. Oh, no, there we go. So that's coming together. Now you're just gonna take the shallots, the garlic, and place some pats of butter. I got it. I'm just gonna slice this. I might need the core and more now. Put the core here. The apple core, I'm sorry, boop, new and designed. And then I'll arrange more of these apples that were halfway cut. All right, so that's coming to a bubble. My oven is preheated already. We got the pan sauce. Gonna remove it from the heat. And then you can serve the chicken. What I'm gonna do here, actually, I'm gonna display. Let's see, so you're gonna put apples around your chicken. I hate to be so far away from everybody, but I have to take you far away to get the vibe here. No, really just to get them out of the heat. And then you're just gonna bake this. So again, I have a ton of apples. Probably don't need this many, because my gala apples were so big that they broke my, not broke, but they were too big for my thing. But I'm glad I have a big old pan here to fit everything in. I mean, once this is cooked and roasted, then I'm gonna put on my garlic, just the pats of garlic. It's just gonna be a little garlic for flavor. You're gonna nestle some shallots in there. You can be creative. That's the fun thing about cooking. You can be creative. You know, it says 2 halves of shallots, but hey, if you wanna cut it and have more shallots that are gonna cook nicely with your pan sauce, I mean, really, once I bake this, then you're gonna add a couple pats of butter just around the apples. And I am gonna look like, a lot of people will say to me, oh, Courtney, you're such a good cook. Well, I had apple cider, I had shallots, and I had our Pampered Chef seasoning and our, butter and things like that, and some smashed garlic. Very simple recipe to follow. And it's part of TasteBuds, so we know what that means. It's gonna be delicious. It's from our Half Baked Harvest influencer. So there we go. I'm rushing here just so it's not too long of a video, but that's what it looks like. And this is our autumn roasted whatever it is, autumn roasted chicken with cider pan sauce. Now you know, oven safe to 480. Pop that off though, make sure you pop that off. And I'm gonna pop it in the oven for 20 minutes and I'll post a picture below of what the recipe tastes like. Remember, 25% off anything, any order until Thursday night. Have a great, ask me for the link if you want it. Have a great night.